So all the time, people come to me and they'll say, Tommy, this is how much I do. This is how much I drink. This is when I do it. I started when I was this old. This is how many times I've tried to quit. This is why I'm not trying now, whatever. Do I have a drug problem? I find it hysterically funny. I'm sorry, I really do. It's one of the only things that we do that I find really funny. Because if you're coming to me and you're asking, you know the answer to the question, right? You're going through the motions because it seems like something you're supposed to do. Hey, Fancy Nancy, good to see you. But you know the answer to that question, right? Or you wouldn't be asking me. So the question becomes, how do you figure this out? Well, there's a lot of different definitions for addiction. The one that I use is if you continue to do a substance or a habit in the face of mounting negative consequences, right? You know, when you first start screwing up, you just no big deal. Little problem here, a little problem there. It's nothing to really lose any sleep over, or nothing to get too concerned about, right? And then it starts getting a little bit more serious. You might catch, a little bit of legal trouble, or your grades start plummeting if you're in school, or whatever the case may be, right? But you start to see negative consequences from the actions, yet nothing dissuades you from continuing to do dope. This, to me, is a pretty solid definition, right? Sorry. I'll be honest. I don't think interventions work. What I am saying is this. The only person that's going to diagnose whether or not you're a drug addict is you, right? And it takes a dose of honesty in order to make that happen. And I think it's essential that happens, because if I diagnose you, or if somebody else diagnoses you, you haven't started squat on your journey, right? What does that do? Whether you do it my way, whether you do it 12-step program way, no matter what way you get to the finish line, you're going to have to admit you can't control your substance. You don't get sober without that. Whether it's 12 steps or whether it's anything else, you're going to using without regard to the negative consequences. 100%. That's the difference. I think that's a pretty good. I think you probably said that better than I did, Jody. But that's a pretty good barometer, I think. Right, and for sure it was for me, because the negative consequences were absolutely unbelievable. And I just continued to plod along, continuing to do drugs and do what I do, right? Blake Balake Richardson, good to see you, man. Glad you're here. Really glad you're here. Always fun. So I just quit meth, justified doing it once a year, and then realized it was stupid. Well, I'm glad that you quit, Rachel. I really am. Meth is a dangerous drug, especially right now, right? Because there was a time where the vast majority of dope in this country was made in this country. By dope, I mean methamphetamine. There were a bunch of guys cranking out meth. I am a drug addict. That is a pre-contemplation if I ever heard it. I most assuredly am a drug addict. I did $700 worth of dope a day for a really, really long time. I robbed banks to get money to buy more dope. I hurt people to get it. I lied to people to get it. There was nothing I wouldn't do to get it. And that lasted for almost 3 decades. Right? And at the expense of everything else in my life, the women that I loved, my kids, all of that. Everything took a backseat to dope until I traded virtually every single thing in my life for it. Traded the wife, traded the kids, traded the cars, traded the watches, traded the houses. All of it, right? Until there's nothing left to trade. And then you give up your freedom, you give up your pride, you give up your dignity, right? All of those things. Until literally you got nothing left. And then, that was for me, that was, even once I got inside, I continued to do dope, right? That wasn't rock bottom yet. Pretty damn bad, but it wasn't rock bottom. Getting stabbed on the yard, life flighted off the yard, brought back. That was a tough one. Being put on in solitary confinement at that time, that was really a bummer. Well, here's an interesting thing too. Rick Spicer says usage a lot less once you join the community. I think there's something to that. And that's one of the things that probably makes the lifeboat a little different than everything else that does this. Um, I wouldn't consider you anything but an artist, Laura FM. But I think that you need to consider whether or not you're a drug addict or a drug user. And the really important thing, people, is that you really are the only person that can answer that question. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody can answer that question for you. Plain and simple, they can't. You know what happens, right, when the lights are off. You know whether or not you're doing something because you have to do it, or you're doing something because you're trying to, you're catching a buzz. You're out having fun, and yeah, you do it every once in a while. It's not that big a deal. I had friends that partied with me. I had friends that would come out and do drugs with me. Then they would go back to the real world. I was always blown the hell away by this. Like they would come out and spend 2 or 3 days like cranking on the blow or doing whatever. And they were great because they always brought a ton of money. During the rest of the week, these cats aren't doing blow. So they stack cash. So they would come in and go, hey, man, I got like $3,000 to spend. And usually they're adults, right? So you're charging them double whatever the going rate is. But there's a big difference between party, right? Laura, I was just saying before you got here, I tell nobody they're a drug addict ever, because I just don't have, I don't believe anybody has that capacity. I know I can say it about myself. I know that there are other people who could look at me and say, he certainly lives like a drug addict, right? Like my lifestyle was pretty damn clear. If doing CPR on my sister when she OD'd and I still take a Percocet or a Xanax, wow. I certainly hope you're not taking either of those at the same time, right? Please don't do, Shannon. Please don't mix Percocets and Xannies. Please don't mix two respiratory depressants. Okay, if we're gonna, that's harm reduction. You're gonna continue to do dope. Don't mix benzos and painkillers, right? Don't mix alcohol with any pill. There's an expression in the drug world where they say 1 + 1 = 3, right? Because if you take one drink, a shot of beer, a glass of wine, whatever, and you mix it with one OxyContin 80, it's not like you now have double the strength of an OxyContin 80. It's like you doubled the strength of both. So it really becomes a very, very dangerous thing when we start mixing respiratory depressants. Can we slow the chat for those of us who multitask? Chat and pay attention with the skill of a fruit fly on caffeine. I personally can't do it from here, but I'm hoping that one of my mods could do it for you. Because, by the way, everybody, we have gotten to the point on the boat where I absolutely must comment on the super chats and all that at the end, like everybody else does. I used to love doing it on the fly. It just isn't going to work. Your generosity has become so much to the point that we have to save it for the end. But I really, really appreciate you. Do we need prayers for a kitty? Because that should stop everything we're doing. There you go. This is for the cat. Everybody, thoughts and prayers, please, for a kitty that needs it, right? Kitties don't do anything wrong. And C says, comment aside, Tommy, I will disagree wholeheartedly with you. I absolutely love Seventh Son's dad jokes. I love reading them and laughing alone on my living room couch. Now, I don't think I said anything about not liking them. I just said they're most assuredly dad jokes. And he's one of my favorite people. I'm glad he's here. Did you know milk is the fastest liquid ever? It passed your eyes before you even seen it. Oh boy. You're right. What was I thinking? Multiple surgeries. Most I ever got was a Oxy 5 or a Perk 5. Wow. I was taking 1280s a day. But I've had a lot of surgeries as well. A lot. Look at everybody. Hey, the heat seeker boil. What's happening, Andrew? I saw you. What's going on? It's my friend from New Zealand. Oh, Vixen. Vixen, are you a member of the Lifeboat group page over on Facebook? If you are not, may I recommend that you just, even if you just build an account long enough to go over and meet some people, because I'm trying to figure out how I can put you together, because there are people I can put you together with right now, but I can't really do it here. I'm not trying to put their contact information out. Look, with the today, people, the only reason that we didn't, my daughter ended up with a doctor's appointment. We will train on the server tomorrow, and that's going to be, that really is going to be like a perfect example, Vixen, of where you can go and just start talking to people, because this is set up to support everybody around the clock, 24/7, everywhere. Did I hear about our camping trip? It was intense. Oh no. Oh no, that was awful. By the way, a bunch of you Anunnaki child, I'll run with you on this, but here's my deal. I don't see the benefit of keeping him alive. Hang with me for a second, and let's just assume that, right? If he's the big boss, right? I mean, what's the point of keeping Epstein alive? If he's the guy that has all of the cash, right? I just don't, I can't see where anybody and everybody that was associated with this dude at every level probably has a reason to see him dead. But I can't see too many people that have a reason to see him alive, right? I don't understand. I don't know why you would want to smuggle him out, get him away. I feel like the work is done. The operation is blown, right? The whole world knows what was going on down on that island. I think he's probably at this point really expendable. He's probably a guy you no longer want around, because if he's your pimp, if he is the guy that you hired to be the handler of underage boys and girls for abuse, right? If that's what this dude needs to go, right? If he's getting ready to go to talk to anybody about anything, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to go, "Hey man, I was just a pimp." You know, the people that put this stuff together, no, that's the people you need to go after. And in my humble opinion, people, there ain't no receipts. I'm telling you, this is my humble opinion. In my humble opinion, that's exactly what we were looking at, right? That's what was going on. So if that's the case, he's really somebody that they're going to want dead fast, right? Because he's a threat to whoever the money guy is, the person that are holding the strings. I think those are the people that whacked him. But that's my opinion. Hey, Lisa Trimble, how are you? I'm glad that you are here. I really am. I think I saw you earlier over on, I was talking about you. I saw you earlier over on Reese's channel, was it not? Yes, there is. And you know what? This is one of those unusual ones that there's no such thing as a good ending. People were injured in this, and one student is dead. My understanding is that the shooter was the one that is no longer with us, that he removed himself. That is my understanding. Calhoun, I did not see what that last one said. Did I miss anything on that, or was that no? Yeah, exactly. You know what? Exactly. I think that's really what we were looking at, right? Like once you see Oz, you got to go. I think the Bonnie thing is something that they like to do. I mean, think about it if you're a producer, right? If you're the producer of the show, they say, "Go out and get me some B-roll," right? That's the standard stuff, right? I need something to play. Like, have you ever noticed that when, like, I'm sitting there and I'm doing a talk, and if I was a talking head on a major news channel, there's a loop of film, but it's only about 30 seconds long. That's your B-roll, right? And that thing is going to just be playing nonstop on a loop while we talk. And it's supposed to be giving you enough of the scene so that you feel like you're attached to it, right? I feel like the body thing is probably something that the people, you know, say, "Hey, make sure you get him removing the body out of there if you can." That'd be a good shot, right? The ones that they don't see the body always freaks me out, right? When you hear, "Oh, we just did a burial at sea." Oh, what? Man, show me the dude's body, please. right? Show me the dude's body. I'm pretty creeped out about burials at sea. I want to know what's going on. Sorry. And I'm not saying that's a conspiracy theory. I'm not. I'm just saying, boy, it gives you an opportunity, doesn't it, for it? Oh, you pulled the muscle. I'm so sorry to hear that. It is, there's not much worse. A horse walks into a bar, or Rick Ocasek. That was the other guy, the longest face in rock and roll. Do you remember the guy from the Cars? Rick Ocasek's face was like 2.5 miles long. He had a really big dome. Kind of looked like a horse. Actually, kind of looked like a horse. Random yet friendly reminder to hydrate. Yeah, you know what? I've really been making an effort. It's actually a really cool question. There you go. Thank you. Question from Drush Marush. Maximum security level 4 prison. I'm just curious how they move highly dangerous inmates to get a tooth pulled or a colorectal exam. Isn't that something complicated due to security risks? Absolutely. And here's how it works. If you are leaving the prison, right? If you have to leave the prison to go to an outside hospital or whatever, they're going to put you in the segregated housing unit the night before. They want to keep an eye on you, see what you eat, all that stuff. But always, if you're going to the hospital, they're going to stick you in the shoe for the night before. And then at about 4 a.m., they get you ready to go. And 3 cops have to escort you everywhere you go on level 4. So if you're out of your cell, you have to have 3 cops that escort you. So your hands go through the food slot in the back and they cuff you up behind your back. You walk out. There's going to be a van for transportation, right? That transportation van is going to have 2 cops in it. Then they're strapped. Like, these are the real deal. They're not, these guys have weapons, and one sits backwards facing you and the other sits driving. But when they get where they're going, you're shackled, you're belly chained, you're shackled at the ankles. One of the other reasons that they put you in the shoe is you get no warning to be able to call home to a friend and say, hey, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, right? None of that. All of a sudden they just come up and go, hey, need to talk to you real quick. Your phone's already been turned off. You can't get a message out to the street. You understand? But their biggest fear is that you're going to have somebody waiting at the hospital. So you never know what day you're going. They're vicious about making sure you never have any idea when you're going. Veronica Bombria? I don't think I've ever said hello to you, Veronica. I'm glad you are here. Rick Ocasek looked like the lead in The Corpse Bride. Well, there's something to that, to be sure. He was not he wasn't the most handsome cat in the entire world, but he definitely dated a lot. I cannot intelligently talk about the women's prison. Did you Oh yeah, I did. I did see this video actually. I did. Well, so I don't know whether or not Ghislaine Maxwell, how she's going to be treated. Truthfully, I don't have any idea how that's going to go down. Jody, good to see you. STS is one of my absolute favorite shows to go on. Surviving the Survivor is an awesome show. Really, really dig Surviving the Survivor. I think he's live right now, actually. But if you guys have never gone over and checked out Joel and his mom and his wife, it's just a great. They do true crime over there, and they do it right. Tom Petty's band was like that. Homeliest band in rock and roll. Oh, I don't know. Motorhead was pretty. That was a pretty rugged looking band. Hey, Tommy Bird, what's happening? Tommy Bird, you ran a little late tonight, aren't we, Buff? Oh, people. I'm just picking on Tommy. Tommy and I go way back, right? Tommy's been here the whole time. Norway. Right. Calhoun, pull up that last one. I'm sorry, I need to see that one because there was a question on there that I really wanted to answer. I bet you can't find it. That's all right. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join the crew. Please do. There it is, Tommy. Did you do like the video? The guy that jumped the judge in Vegas yesterday. It was wild. How in hell Was he not handcuffed? Okay, this is a question that a bunch of you asked me in emails today. Like a bunch of people reached out and said, why the hell could this dude do this? Why was he not in handcuffs? You will also notice the cat is in street clothes, right? So they don't want you in shackles until you are already sentenced because they don't want the appearance. I mean, think about it. If you bring me in like this, and I got my hands behind my back, and I got a what's his name, Hannibal Lecter mask on, and they've got me on they're wheeling me in on a dolly, right? What are the odds that everybody in the room doesn't think I'm guilty? You understand what I'm saying? It's like bringing somebody in stripes. You look at him and you go, wow, he looks like the guy, the Monopoly guy, right? Obviously, he's guilty. He looks like a criminal. So to make sure that doesn't happen, they allow you to do it in street clothes, and they do everything they can to make it look like you are just a citizen like everybody else, right? They don't want to prejudice the jury in any way against you. But that does give somebody, a window of time between the conviction and when they're going to slap the cuffs on. Once that conviction thing happens, then, now it's game on. But what disturbed me, I'm sorry, and back to a conversation I had earlier today on the lifeboat. That courtroom needed a toxic masculine man, right? Because when that person jumped on a female judge and was beating the hell out of her, it not just the jump, if that's all you saw, right? But this beating went on for a while, and there's a guy on the other side going like this, hitting them, going, stop. I mean, oh man, they needed one or two dudes over there just sawing logs. You know what I'm saying? Like they needed one or two dudes over there to really throw a punch, because that would have that was disturbing to watch. It really was disturbing to watch. I don't I was I'm not the convict that roots for the judge to get hurt or any of that crap. I've never been that dude. You know what I mean? I never ever. I don't have any desire to be that dude. I find that disturbing as hell. So yeah, you thought that too, Jody. Yeah, I mean that dude was. You talk about metrosexual or whatever you want to call it. Like that is a dude that has not been in a fist fight, which is all good. But if you haven't, maybe kick if you can't throw a punch, because that dude needed to have a mud puddle stomped in his chest, right? He was beating up a woman. Somebody needed to man up a little bit and get that taken care of, and it didn't happen. And there were cops in the room, everything else. It's just, that should have been, say. Hold on, people, 1 second. Hey, Nick, please take care of my brother. We get some thoughts and prayers for my friend Nick, Noah's Opera. I think bit under the weather today. Yeah, thoughts and prayers with you, my brother. I hope you're feeling better. I really do. Yeah, right. I'm yeah. I promise people this case is not done for me by a big stretch. I promise you. This is something that I'm going to continue to pursue. I want to very much stay on top of this. To me, this is a very cut and dry thing, right? Because the only defense anyone is going to be able to say is, look, I didn't know, right? And it really comes down to that person's word of not knowing to anything else, right? Okay. But if you were messing around with this cat after you found out that he was a child molester, right? Okay. Or if in these files there are people that they say, yes, I know for a fact this person was sleeping with underage people, they got to go to prison. Plain and simple, they got to go to prison, right? If that stuff exists and it's been there for a decade, why are these people not being prosecuted? It is against the law to have sex with an underage, right, individual. If this was happening, why aren't those people being punished for it? Because that's jacked up, man. Helen, I will check that out. Thank you. Did somebody say Trivial Pursuit? I'll tell you something, people. I play a mean game of Trivial Pursuit. We on Saturday Night Boat, we normally do Trivial Pursuit or something like that. But the last 2 Saturdays, we've had some issues that have taken me out of commission the last 2 Saturdays. Right? Yeah. No, I mean, Tommy Bird. I'm that guy, right? If I had looked at the judge and said something slick under my breath, like, yeah, whatever, you B word, I would have been beat within an inch of my life. This dude managed to jump over the top of and attack this woman, and nobody did a damn thing. I just hated watching it. I really did. I don't, yeah. And there, you got a room full of people. There's a room full of people in there, right? I'm sorry, people. I guess I'm toxically masculine. I would have been. I live for crap like that. I would have wanted to have been the dude to get over there. Any man not reacting to a woman being hit doesn't deserve to be called a man. Thank you. Men are meant to protect us. Don't care if that's old fashioned. It's the truth. You know what? I'm sorry. I feel the same way. I do. I feel the same way. And that goes for women, animals, anything. If there's somebody, even another guy, if there's somebody that is using their size to intimidate somebody or hurt somebody, we need to take care of that, right? You need to take care of that. And if you're the biggest kid on the friggin' playground, then it's your job to take care of it. Plain and simple. If you're the biggest kid on the playground, handle it. If you're not, get with another kid, right? Because 2 of you can take the biggest kid on the playground. I promise you. So this shouldn't be all of that tough. You know what? This is the point that I'm making today. This is the point I'm making, hon. For real, right? These files are from the trial in 2015. The DA has known about these people since then and has done nothing. I doubt they will do anything. Unfortunately, no one has ever called them on it. You understand that what happened when Loretta decided that she was going to release all of these documents, right? When this judge did what no other judge has ever done, something has changed. Something has changed, right? I don't know whether it's the Me Too movement. I don't know whether it was the hot mic moment, right? Remember from Weinstein? Man, we had all this. We had all this. We had the entire story, and you guys buried it. They're afraid of the same kind of thing, and I think this is a shifting tide right now. And if people like us, if we all start screaming, Seventh Son is a master and has reached out to me. He's told me, and we're going to put together something so that he can help all of us be very targeted with how we get on politicians' backs about things like this. But we have to reach out and go, what's the deal? How is it that you got a list of people that had sex with kids and they're not in prison? Is this because they donated tons of money to your political action committee? What is it? Why is it that these people can have sex with kids and not get in trouble? Maybe fill us in, right? Because if this is allowed to go unpunished, if we learn nothing from this, guess what? Think about it. Think about it. Izzy says you'd be surprised how many people freeze up in situations. You know what? That's real. You're right. That's real. It really is. There are people that freeze up. I think I've told this story. I yelled at a teller, scared her pretty good because she did that. I mean, she just looked at me and got this glazed look over her face, like all of a sudden she wasn't home. I'm going, hey, I need you to, and she just like there was no one home. I kind of had the kind of a thing. Not something I'm proud of, I assure you, but it does happen. There are people that lock up, that just you get to a point where you can't move. Charlotte Everett, you and I can hang out. I agree with you 100%. Zero tolerance seems like this is something where zero tolerance seems to make a crap load of sense to me, huh? But You're right, Tommy Bird. That is exactly what that dude looked like. That dude looked like there has never been a fight. Would it work on the level of what this guy hitting a female judge? No, they're not going to care inside about that. To be really honest with you, they're not. That this gets into a disgusting area of convict politics that can make you sick. If somebody was doing anything to a judge in the convict code, I don't care what you did, you're getting a pass. That they're going to celebrate what he did because that woman is a judge. As sick as that is, that's kind of how it goes. There is a that's the bad guy kind of mentality, and anything that Woody Harrelson's dad was in the feds. I think he may have died since, but when I was in there, he was in, and he was in there for either attempting to kill a judge or successfully killing a judge. But that's what, and yeah, they kind of celebrate all of that crap. Or someone that kills a cop. By the way, I'm not talking about me, right? I'm talking about this is a convict thing. I don't dig any of that. I really don't. I've always said that I don't there's a lot that convicts did inside that I don't agree with. I'm not a racist cat. I can't stand any of that crap. And if you want to divide groups in there or whatever, I understand that it's them doing it to us. I understand that it's the feds dividing us intentionally because it makes it easier. But I watched guys in there that decided to hate people because they were Jews, or they decided to hate people because they were Mexicans or whatever. And you know what, man? All the rest of it, you lost me, right? From that point on, that's not something I can live with. So, my doctor gave me a script today for Vicodin. I have chronic pain in my foot. I need to figure out using them without it becoming a problem. Case, here's what you do. Take it exactly the way it says on that bottle, right? Do not take it more than it says on that bottle. That's all you got to do. I promise you. What they put on that bottle is exactly how you're supposed to take it. And if you do it that way, you're not going to become dependent on it. Now, the reason for that is they're not going to give you enough of them to get a habit if you're eating them the way that the way it's written on the label. They're not going to give you enough of those pills to develop a habit that way. So you do that successfully. Don't ask for a refill, right? Get tough. After the first one, got to bite the inside of your lip, right? Do what you do. Do what you do. Kelly Visor says statutes of limitations for underage SA in New York can file crime charges up until the victim is 28 unless you have received any legal compensation. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you, Kelly. And if you need pain medication for chronic pain, we're not mad at you about that here. That's what this show's about, for real. If you need painkillers, you need painkillers. If you need ADHD medication, then you're taking speed. Fine. If you need what the doctor is giving you, right? I'm not anti-drug. Jody, the first time you took Percocet, you were already a drug addict. Honestly, I mean, that's kind of how it works. You were addicted to drugs in the womb. I know that that's a hard one to wrap your brain around. If Percocet has your number, then it has your number. If you're dealing with pain, you kind of have to. I mean, there's a chronic pain management individual probably has to take it. I mean, this is one of the hardest things in the world, especially considering doctors now do not want to treat individuals. Plain and simple. Doctors do not want to treat individuals, and because of the opioid crisis. But in terms of becoming addicted, a physical dependency is going to take about 14 to 16 days on average. That's the average individual. That is, right, after they've become addicted. What I mean is, if I were to come back, they say 14 days, I'm done. I'll be right back where I was. Now, I'm here to tell you, if I do 4, I will be physically addicted. I've done this for 30 years. No matter what science tells you, I do it for 4 days, I'm done, right? 3, I could probably walk away. Now, I wouldn't be able to because I don't have that strength. Once I start, I promise you people, I go on autopilot and there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing. I'm not having surgeries for that reason. There are things I'm not going to do in my life because I can't take pain meds. I'm not saying I'm like other people. I may be nothing like Jody. I may be nothing like anybody else. But for me, I turn into a completely different human being. And I do mean a completely different human being. Yeah. But I won't take that first one. I promise you that. There is no chance I would take that first one. What about Toradol? I'm a fan. I am absolutely a fan of Toradol. There's a lot of people who are going to pop up here and say, Toradol does nothing. Yeah, I can drink beers. I don't have a problem with alcohol. I never have. I don't like the buzz. Sadly, it's not a drug I enjoy. I like being in control, and alcohol is something that I don't like the feeling of losing it. And I know it probably sounds silly because I was addicted to heroin, but I never lost it on heroin. I was always in control of myself. Right. I was. I did not out. I didn't overdose, any of that. I was a strange addict. But yeah, I drink beers whenever I want. Or is that triggering to addicts? I would not do it here. I would never do it in front of any of my friends who are in recovery, ever. I would not do that. I have friends I'm sure that can handle it. I just wouldn't do it. I don't drink around people who are in recovery. I just think it's bad form. And it doesn't mean that much to me. It's not like I need it. So if I know that someone I'm with is in recovery, I'm not drinking. I'm not doing anything around anyone like that. That's bad. That's just, I don't know. It's bad. I wouldn't see any reason to do it, but civil charges can be filed by you, the victim, until you reach the age of 55. Thanks again, Kelly. Oh, well, probably, and they probably would. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up here, people, but I got really behind and I'm trying to figure out where the hell this is going. All right, that's it. I'm tapping out. We're just getting down to the bottom. Steven Tyler said he didn't have a monkey on his back. He had a gorilla sitting in his driveway. I'll tell you something about Steven Tyler. If you read the book about the Toxic Twins, about he and his guitarist and the dope they did, Mandrax was a big one with them. But the amount of drugs that those guys were doing and managed to stay alive. I mean, I'm sure that they exaggerate stuff in books, but my God, like you read the amount of stuff that they were taking, and it's horrific. I believe this too. Yeah, normally that was a quick one for me. If I was in the same room as heroin, that was a wrap. Jody says I lost my sister and nephew to drug overdoses. Addiction runs in the family. Yeah, it usually does. If there is a very serious genetic component to drug addiction, and it is passed from parent to child. And it doesn't even have to be, it can be in the nature or the nurture, right? For those of you who you can absolutely pass it on just based on how you raise your child, but you can pass it on in the DNA as well. You can definitely do a lot of damage one way or the other, whether through nature or nurture. But in either way, the best thing that you can do is communicate to your children and be viciously honest. Sit down and talk to your kids about drugs. We have this thing in our head that if we're honest to our kids about the fact that we might have done drugs, then our kids are they're just going to instantly go, dad did dope. I'm going out to get a bag right now. And you know what? Research doesn't bear that out. It really doesn't work that way. In fact, it's quite the opposite, talking and being honest and showing your kids that you're human. You know what? I had a vicious problem with this stuff. I know that my kids have a different respect for opiates because of what happened with their parents, right? And the fact that we were super open about what happened, right? Both mom and dad had a problem with pain medication and opiates in general. It's a time bomb. It is a time bomb. But you know what? I'm never going to diagnose anybody. I hope that comes out good and clear, right? So that I don't get emails saying, "What do you think?" I don't. I think that you need to look at yourself, and I have a struggle believing that anybody doesn't know whether or not they're an addict. I really struggle with that. We're good at BSing ourselves. I get that, but by the time you're asking someone who has a sobriety channel if they think you have a problem, you may know, right? Question: I have to take pain meds for fibromyalgia. It is the only work. Yeah, that's the only thing that works. Yep. I get any app on your phone to log each pill. Don't trust your memory. I am so thankful I did it from day one. The best tool. You know what? It's a great idea. It really is. And with any habit like this, if you start it from day one, it's your best friend. You start trying to develop a habit later, not impossible, certainly more difficult. Anything that you can do from day one, you're definitely going to do you're going to have a much easier time developing that into a habit. Now, this is a perfect example. If you have fibromyalgia, good luck getting through the rest of your time on earth without pain meds. Am I going to get an email from 10 people who tell me they do? Yeah, I am. But I worked with people on the lifeboat that I watched fibromyalgia take these people apart. I mean, for real, take them apart to where it was, bringing them to tears. It's a serious, serious affliction. And I do not pass judgment on anybody that needs to treat pain. I mean, how can you judge somebody for that? Oh, Kelly Visor says, "You're welcome. I just adore you. Truly, don't miss an episode. Hey, Spanx, I have a daughter who's 21 and finishing her bachelor's degree in science and nursing at Kent State University." There you go, Calhoun. Huh? I like it. The degree in nursing. I love nurses. I've always loved nurses. I'm serious. Way more than doctors. I feel like nurses do all of the work and doctors don't. I really like nurses. And Hummingbird, I am sorry for your loss. And I'm sorry for the fear because I know what that's like. But we have a rule here, right? And it's a good one. I promise you, you got to adopt this. The first thing you got to do is default to the opposite direction that you would normally go, right? Because as addicts, the first thing we do in a situation like this is we go, that's malignant. And not only is it malignant, it's stage 4. I probably aren't going to make it until Friday, right? This is what we do to ourselves. I've told the story a million times. My letter from the probation officer. You need to be in my office Monday morning as early as you can get here. The whole weekend. I'm like, oh, they're violating me. I'm getting sent back to the joint. No, they were sending me back to the joint. Right? They wouldn't warn me. They wouldn't ask me to come in. But logic ran out the window. I wasn't doing logic. I was going to the worst case scenario because that's what we do. Right? We do it all the time. So I am of the firm belief that mass is not going to be malignant. Right? I think that you are going to see a miracle happen in your life. I'm going to default to the miracle. And I'm going to continue to pray for you. If you don't believe in prayer, that's cool. But I do. So I'm going to continue to pray for you. And because I've grown pretty fond of you. I really have. So, the name of the app would absolutely help. I think it would be really cool if we could get the name of the app that's helping people track the number of pills that they take. This is really an issue for a lot of people, especially when you're in pain, right? When your whole life is when you are every nerve ending in your body is trying to unseat what you're doing. It's very difficult to pay attention to the really small stuff. Still looking for that white snake jacket. That's the spirit. Someone's gonna find it. And all the corresponding channels. I think that's a huge thing. I love the idea that that everybody kind of has a place to go. I love the idea that everybody can go and continue, because whether we're talking about sobriety, or whether we're talking about Scientology, or whether we're talking about skiing or Gruen watches. Oh, I really like Gruen. Gruen is one of my favorite companies, just for the record. I have my collection of Gruen is they're all vintage, but I have a ludicrous collection of Gruen watches and all of their holy grails, almost all of their holy grails. I don't have their chronograph, like the Sky Chief kind of one, like the Benner Sky Chief, their version of it. I don't have that, but I have everything else. Hold on 1 second. I have been on pain meds for years for rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and fibromyalgia. Never failed drug tests. Stay in my damn lane, in my dose lane, rather. I'm sorry. I know my body is addicted, and part of me wants to give them up so damn bad. Your body is dependent, honey. Not addicted, dependent. Addicted people are not taking it the way that they're supposed to, right? They're taking it not because of the pain. They're taking it for spiritual pain. They're taking it for emotional pain. They're not taking it for the physical pain, right? When you get to the point where you're abusing the drug for the buzz of the drug to avoid something, right? I've talked about this many times before, and people will argue with me. Heroin as my drug of choice doesn't give you anything, right? Guys will go, oh, it gives you courage. No, it takes away fear, right? Big difference. Believe it or not, there's a big difference, because all that drug does is take from you. Drugs don't give you squat. They take from you. And you don't see it in the beginning, because in the beginning, they take fun stuff like, oh, my inhibitions, or, now I feel fine talking in public, or whatever, right? All of those fun things in the beginning. And there always are fun things in the beginning. Oh, since I started doing this, I made a new group of friends and they're fun to hang out with. I got a new social group. A new social group will be stealing from you within a couple of weeks. But, this is it never starts off awful. It's just like a cult or anything else. There's gotta be a honeymoon period in the beginning where good stuff happens. If there wasn't, it wouldn't happen. The bipolar road. Okay, I like it. And I like that you didn't go with everybody else's. It is a great name, though. But the bipolar road, everybody get that? Get a link up. Put that link up. You hear me? Put that link up. Sorry. I had a denim jacket with leopard spot leather shoulders. No. Good Lord, that sounds hot. That really does. Like that's in my wheelhouse. I am an 80s guy. It sounds like an 80s jacket. Mary Reno says, yep, fibro is awful. Can't function without the medication. Also have cancer for the 4th time and congestive heart failure, along with a really spacious med box. Thoughts and prayers, Mary. That's hard. That really is. Well, we're here, Mary, and we'll be here every day. I promise you that. Be here every day. Tommy Bird had a question. Tommy Bird's a troublemaker. You got to be really careful with Tommy Bird. Let me find Tommy Bird. Where's Tommy's question? Tommy's my guy. I don't see Tommy's question. Calhoun, do you see a Tommy Bird question? The number of people on this boat who are suffering with chronic pain, it's absolutely astounding. Uh, are ones for thoughts and prayers? Yes, they are, man. They are for thoughts. There we go, Calhoun. You are the beast, Captain. At what age did you deem it appropriate to sit one of your kids down and explain to them that their parents were addicted to drugs? Great question. This was something that I went around in circles with my wife about. My wife at the time, because I wanted to do this younger than she did. Here's my advice on this. If they're going to talk to your kid about drugs in school, then it's plenty early for you to be able to do it, right? And some of the first intros were in elementary school where they would start to bring up drugs. And I remember Calhoun coming home and saying, dare talk to us at, okay, it's a lock. Like if they came in to talk to you about dare, then it's time that we talk to you. But he was 11 when he found out that I was a drug addict. That would be the answer to that question. And Calhoun fought me on it. Like he really did. I said, his mom was in rehab when we had this conversation. So he knew. And he said, mom is a drug addict. I know. And I said, I am too. And he went, no, you're not. And I was like, yeah, I am. And what was really, I don't know if you remember that day, Calhoun, but he said to the doctor, oh, is it my turn to talk? Because the doctor asked him if he had something to say. I'm like, is it my turn to talk? And then went on a tear and scared the crap out of the doctor and everybody else. It was fairly impressive. My boy's been a communicator since birth. He's pretty good at it. Question: smoke weed recreationally? Is that a question? Do you mean is it okay to smoke weed recreationally? Is that what you're asking me? I don't know. Again, way over my pay grade. I don't care what anyone does recreationally. I don't. If you can do it recreationally, fantastic. I don't think that's a possibility for me, but I also don't feel the need to, right? If I really felt like I need to have a buzz, I could drink 2 beers. Again, not really a fan of it, but I do eat 10 milligrams of THC and 5 milligrams of CBN to go to sleep every night. When I am in pain, my body gets really cold and I start shivering. It can be extremely painful. I know exactly what you're talking about. And so does anybody that has ever been addicted to pain meds. Right? Anyone who has been addicted to pain meds knows exactly what what Mary's talking about here. You start shivering as the pain literally feels like it's dropping your body temperature, and your jaw will start doing the up and down thing. Oh no, I'm not. Tommy Bird is yeah, it might be the name. You know what, Tommy? You're dad. You're there and you're looking at him. I'll tell you right now, Spanx Calhoun at 11 was not your average 11-year-old. Like I will tell you that. He was his ability to comprehend, communicate, and get concepts that were probably above his age appropriate kind of stuff. He was touched. He was touched. So that may not be the greatest indicator because he really was. I didn't talk to my daughter until she was. My daughter was 13 when we had the conversation. I'm sure that they had already had it with her, but the first time that she and I talked about it, she was 13. Oh, snot face! I get fat fingers. Smoke weed recreationally. It's hard to explain that to doctors without seeming like an addict while also dealing with alcohol. How do you explain to a doctor without seeming like drug seeking? This is a hard question. It's a good question, but it's a really, really hard thing. I would just try to communicate right from Jump Street. If it were me, like what I would say is this. They'll ask, do you take? Are you using tobacco products? Or are you using this? Do you use THC? Yes, I use THC. Oh, you use it recreationally? I use it to go to sleep. Right? I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder from something that happened while I was in prison in 2013. I have tried everything, right? Everything that they will write you a prescription for, Big Pharma makes to try to help dreams, people who struggle badly with night terrors, right? The kind of dreams that make you lose weight, the kind of dreams that make you die young if you don't get it taken care of. But I said to the person I'm talking to, I run an anti-drug channel. Like I run a sobriety channel. I run a channel that helps people get off drugs, right? I'm not even stoked about taking this, but nothing else works. So I would like you to know that, don't write, for me, it's a little different too, though, because I don't want a prescription for anything. Like I don't, right? I'm usually the one that's telling doctors, no, yeah, I may have ADHD. I'm not taking speed. I know what happens when you give me speed. It's not an option for me. It's not an option for me. It just is what it is. I'm self-aware, right? And I can't do speed. That's when I've already been addicted to speed, right? You do that like that. It won't take long. The app is Pill Alert. Everybody get that? The app is Pill Alert. Mary Jones. Thank you, Mary Jones. You can also print out a report and take it to your doctor so he can see when you're taking your medication as well. That's also a very cool concept. It really is. That's a very cool concept. Kind of keeps you in lockstep with your medical, your team, your care team. Meow, 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 boo, hiss. Cats have been known to hiss. Were you simultaneously addicted to heroin and speed, or was it a trade one for the other kind of a situation? They do such different things. I was just curious. I was addicted to both at the same time. I was addicted to speed, but speed was just designed to keep me doing heroin longer. I wanted to be able to do it until 2 a.m. That's really what it came down to, as bad as that is and as dumb as that is. Question, do they hand out razors for shaving in prison? They do. They absolutely do. At some of the higher custody levels, they hand them out and collect them at the same day, right? And they want to see it back with the blade and all that. At the level 3 yards, level 2 yards, level 1 yards, you can buy 5 of them and have them in your cell at all times. Some places sell, triple blade or quadruple blade razors, just like you would get on the street. And yeah, people get cut with them all the time, right? All of the time, people get cut with them. Did I hear they're legalizing MDMA? No, I have not heard that. I know that it's being used to treat PTSD. It's being used to treat a lot of other things. And I'm not against anything that is going to help anybody. Right? Anybody. I'm not an anti-drug guy. I say that from time to time. I'm really an anti-addiction. I got nothing against drugs. I just couldn't do them very well. I had a vicious addiction. I didn't have the ability to stop. That's my problem. I couldn't stop. Larry Allen, thank you. He says, I'm glad to hear your attitude on THC. I'm new to the lifeboat, and I've felt like an outsider for using THC for my pain here in the Bible Belt. I kind of believe that. Until the dispensaries open in Alabama, I'll still be a criminal, and that sucks. Really, that sucks. I guess I kind of take it for granted that I live in a state where that's not an issue, but that sucks. I'm sorry. I really am, because that shouldn't happen. And Calhoun has put the mailing address into the channel description. That's great. Appreciate you. I made my pain management doctor take me off of oxycodone. Good for you, love. My body would start shaking about 45 minutes before I was due for the next dose. Absolutely it would. You were in withdrawal, right? That's terrible. I was taking 15 milligrams every 4 hours or 8 pills every day. It scared me. I should imagine. I'm so glad you're off of it. Good for you. Good for you. That's not an easy thing to do too, because you start to develop the you really can develop the addiction, the habit very, very quickly. If it has your number, like our friend said, if it has your number, it's going to get you on the first one. Make no mistake. If it has your number the first time you try, you could be screwed. I certainly I took pain meds, never an issue. The first time I took pain meds when I didn't need them, that was a wrap. That's all it took. The first time I did not need pain meds, but I took them. MDMA is methyl dioxymethamphetamine or something along those lines. It's ecstasy. It's the chemical name for ecstasy. Developed a long, long time ago, but not really used for. It got real popular in the 70s and the 80s and then early 90s. And the government got rid of one of the main ingredients, and so now it's very, very difficult to make. So most of the stuff that's on the street these days is bunk. Even if they're calling it Molly or whatever the hell they want to call it, there's not a lot of pure anything out there, sadly. I talk about it a lot, but we're the last generation of people that actually did drugs. The people that are doing drugs now don't know what they're getting. Stuff's killing them. Right? We could experiment with drugs. You can't do that anymore. The generations that are coming up now, it will kill them. Wow. Yeah. Legal with prescription. It is a very guys, one in the chat, Mara, means thoughts and prayers, like thoughts and prayers going out to whoever. Yeah, I took a lot of MDMA too. I was a fan. MDMA was legal in the when I first got down to Texas. You could still buy it in bars, and I did a lot of it. Lisa from Jersey, good to see you. Do I think weed is addictive? I smoked a lot for 15 years. I think it was psychologically addictive. Of course it is. Of course it is. And anyone who tells you it's not is got a vested interest. I'm sorry. Of course it's addictive. Listen, if there is a substance, right, that alters how you feel, then you run the risk of getting addicted to it. Because what happens is you start feeling bad, you pick up your pipe, you hit it, you start feeling good. You don't got to be a rocket scientist to figure out that that has the potential for abuse, right? Like that ought to make a lot of sense to everybody here. Right? If I can take away feeling sad with one hit, oh yeah, then you have the potential to get addicted. Yankee Kyle, congratulations, my friend. It does take a lot, people, to never even try. You know what I mean? Stuff in this day and age, because it's everywhere. God bless you, my man. Looking forward to 35 more years from you, huh? Because that's not easy to do. It really isn't, especially in today's day and age. So well played. Polycystic kidney disease. Good Lord, Cag. I'm so sorry. That's hard. That's hard. Amber, Vanessa, if you did not like speed, then you're probably not going to like ecstasy. There is a grip of speed in ecstasy. It is a methyl-based drug. So there are some real big similarities between the two. One has a kind of a happy component that the other does not have. But to be sure, if you don't like speed, you're probably going to have a problem with X. That's just kind of logical. I think I'd still be a fan today in certain situations if it was real legit ecstasy. I absolutely feel the same way. I had a very close friend that I did all of the ecstasy with, and I talk to him about once every 4 or 5 years. I will get on the phone with him and we will discuss. And he'll say to me, I got some disco biscuits about a month ago. And I'd go, really? It's like the old days? Nah, that's garbage. But he continues to go out and try to buy them because it was a lot of fun. Like that was a drug that, I mean, it really was not overrated. That was a fun drug. You know, it really was. And very lovey. You know, there was a lot of love stuff. Oh, you use trazodone to sleep, Kelly. Trazodone is scary for guys, right? That priapism stuff is real. And when it happens, that's a frightening drug. What if you're addicted to weed, but it doesn't affect your life negatively? Do you still see it as a problem? Not me, not my again, not my pay grade to say that's not. Do I see it as I don't see anything as a problem for anybody other than me, right? And I mean that. It may sound funny from sitting in this chair, but I I don't judge anybody for their use of anything. And nor would I say I see this as a problem. If you're dropping, if you have the money and there's no negative consequences in your life, and you're happy with it, and you're, I don't know. That's a decision that you got to make, right? I would much rather have you on that than drinking. Believe that, right? I would way rather have you on weed than drinking. In fact, I'd rather have you on weed than just about any other substance on earth. So, right, harm reduction, man, go with the weed. For real, go with the weed. Um, Alcohol causes negative, alcohol starts to destroy your body, even if you're not noticing all of the other stuff. It's killing you, I promise. It's a poison. That's why it gets filtered out through our liver, right? It's a poison. Make no mistake. Dries out every cell in your body, sucks all the water out of it. Alcohol is a poison, people. Can you put the brand name of the gummies again? You know what? It doesn't much matter the name brand as much as it matters this is what matters. It is the 100 milligrams of THC and 50 milligrams of CBN. This is this is sort of done by a lot of different people in the same combination, right? Because that's the sleep combination. So what you're looking for is that right there. 100 milligrams of THC, right? And 50 milligrams of CBN. That is what you were looking for. By any manufacturer, whichever one happens to be on sale, right? But most people hate this because it is not going to be fun. It's going to just put you unconscious. If you're trying to catch a buzz, this probably isn't the product for you. But if you want to go to sleep, this stuff is fantastic. Grouchy says, at least I thought I saw Grouchy. Where is he? I saw a Kratom question, did I not? There we go. Grouchy Mama Bear says, question, how do I feel about Kratom? Kratom goes into your body and attaches to the mu receptor and causes the mu receptor to get you high. That is exactly what heroin does when it enters the body. So for me, I'm not going anywhere near that stuff. Right? As far as I'm concerned, it's gas station heroin, right? Head shop heroin, whatever you want to call it. In really small doses, it doesn't feel like an opiate. In really high doses, it does. Because in really small doses, when you barely tickle the mu receptor, kind of feels like speed a little bit, right? But when you really start, getting in there, is it as effective an agonist, right? No, it's not compared to, the morphine molecule or something else, but it attaches to the mu receptor. So you can get addicted to it. I promise you, anything that attaches to the mu receptor, you can get addicted to. So is it harm reduction to use this stuff instead of heroin? I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know. It's not something I ever abused. I know a lot of people that have, though. Yeah, Mary, I can't believe no doctor ever told you that. Yeah, that's not a phenomenon that's unique to you. This happens to a lot of people. When your pain increases, your body temperature starts to drop. That always happened to me. That's something that always happened to me. Oh, I wish I could take a sleep medication. I just can't. But the gummy works fantastic, and I don't wake up with any kind of a hangover or anything, which to me is the big one. I get up at 5 a.m. and come talk to you. Can you imagine me coming in here and doing this one? Like, how long would that last? Oh yeah, Lisa. Lisa, there's another version of it. Lisa, send me an email. There is a version you can take, but I'm not gonna. It would take me way too long to do this. K2 and spice is no bueno, right? No bueno. That stuff is really, really ugly. Really, really ugly. Is it legal everywhere? You're talking about Kratom? No, it is not legal everywhere. There are states that have made it illegal. There are absolutely states that have made it illegal, but there are still a bunch of them that it was legal in. You were watching the 6 hour ago video and you missed this one. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay. You want me to start at the beginning? 10 milligrams of indica chocolate. I sleep just fine. The indica knocks you out, to be sure. This is when you see the 10 and the 5. It's an indica product, right? Because it's going to do the sativa tends to make you a little bit more peppy, and the other tends to be more like, yeah, all right. So yeah, K2. Debbie, I'm scared to crap. I watched a lot of people abusing that in prison, and it was so scary watching people freak out on it on the K2. I mean, it was horrific. It really was. People freaking out. Yeah, they call it episodes. It happens so often that they build cages to put people in who are having episodes. How ugly is that? I could never really enjoy sativa when I used to smoke the stuff. I was not a sativa guy. I was a indica guy. I was purely an indica guy. I didn't even like a mix. I wanted that was my thing. I don't know if that would still be the case. It's been a long time since I really got into any of that. K2 is a synthetic cannabinoid. It was manufactured. It's comes out of China. It's sold usually through a research chemical company. Often it is accompanied with the letter J before a bunch of numbers, and it is as a research chemical, but it is not a research chemical. It's just a way to get you high.